that card. That card is not realistic.
What he did is he opted for Bitter Blossom and Thoughtseize, while I went with such hits as
Gold Meadow Stalwart.
Yeah.
And Weizensen.
Absolutely. Yeah, the power level of those cards is comparable. They both cost 1 and 2 mana.
They do cost similar amounts.
You know, they both have huge effects in the game. As we're going to watch Frank Stanley and Zachary Murray do battle here. Esper Deathblade versus Punishing Jund.
Both players at 6 cards.
Yeah, both players are on 6 cards. Here's a Deathrite Shaman. Punishing Jund sitting at 6-0-2. Can't draw in, of course. Needs to win the match. And Esper Deathblade here in Stanley sitting at 7-1.
Deathrite Shaman is a card we have not seen a lot of today, despite its notoriety. I mean, Deathrite Shaman widely regarded as having taken over the format, but we're talking about a format with Brainstorm, Force of Will, Stoneforge Mystic. You know, this is not a format to be taken over lightly. Frank is setting up. Actually, which one is that? Is that?
That's Swords to Plowshares, man.
Swords to Plowshares. Which artwork is that? No.
I've never seen that one before.
That's beautiful.
I believe that's from the vaults.
From the vaults, Swords to Plowshares.
I believe from the vaults. I'm not great with those sets, but I'm used to seeing that because of coverage, of course, and I think Magic Alliance on there too. People call it swords to golf clubs.
Sure.
It's fine. It's not the best Swords artwork. I like it, but I don't love it. It does kill Deathrite Shaman all the same. And it's probably pretty important to keep that off the table.
Dude, I love to see Bloodbraid Elf in Legacy. Just doing it. Just doing his thing.
I'm a huge fan. This here's a Brainstorm response to a Thoughtseize. Gonna hide some cards.
No, Bloodbraid Elf's not flipping up like a violent cascade of, you know, Hypergenesis or whatever. This is just Bloodbraid Elf for Val.
Yeah, this is an honest Bloodbraid Elf.
Yes.
And I'm using honest very loosely here.
No, Bloodbraid Elf is a good man.
There's
good woman.
Yes, there's a Brainstorm and Deathrite Shaman to take. Deathrite Shaman's going to bite the dust. There's also a Wasteland and a Tropical Island over there at Stanley. And leaving a Brainstorm there makes me wonder what is left on top of that deck.
Now, this matchup has historically favored Punishing Jund, right? Like, I mean, obviously it can go either way, but Punishing Fires is designed to take out all these, you know, Deathrite Shamans, Dark Confidants, and so on. Actually, he doesn't even have Dark Confidant. He just has Deathrite Shaman, Stoneforge Mystic, Snapcaster Mage. He's going to be really reliant on True Name Nemesis if he wants, True Name Nemesis as far as creatures go to actually live through Punishing Fire.
Yeah, that's the big one. A lot of times what happens here is Punishing Fire is able to pick off all those other creatures that you did mention. Then they become reliant on True Name, and that's where Liliana the Veil comes into play to mop those up. And there are 4 of those in Zachary Murray's deck list. Stanley's going to play a Wasteland. Going to get that Bayou off the table. You can see Murray's hand right now. It's a couple of lands there, 2 copies of Grove of the Burnwillows, along with, I believe, a Verdant Catacombs, and then the Bloodbraid Elf that you mentioned. I kind of like the Punishing Fire version of Jund. Players do sometimes go without it, but I think it's actually a card that puts some power level on Jund. You know, increases it.
It gives you a little bit of inevitability, and it gives you a kind of a trump to some of the strategies, you know? I mean, so many people use so many small creatures. It's nice to have a way to clean all that stuff up without actually having to invest any more cards. So, Esper Deathblade with the mana advantage, being on the play, but also having access to Wasteland. Will the Deathrite Shaman actually stick?
I would be surprised if it does. I mean, there's no answer right now, and it's not really having a huge impact on the game. Like, both players are running out of cards because they both want to exhaust each other. However, one of these decks has Brainstorm and one of them doesn't. I want to make sure Stanley does have Okay, there are 2 Jaces.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's what he's looking to play next turn.
I would have been surprised if there wasn't one. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Frank is definitely looking to drop a Jace the Mind Sculptor and get busy.
But I mean, both of these decks are, the goal here is to exhaust each other's resources and then win with like Dark Confidant or, Jace advantage. All the cards are going to go away, and then it's, basically who top decks better than the other person. But Bloodbraid Elf actually does a nice job, of course, of checking Jace.
Oh, yeah.
So that's important. We'll see basically who draws better as we work our way into the mid-game here. Stanley's going to play Stoneforge Mystic. It looks like so far it's him. So far. As there's a
goes and gets Old Faithful.
That Stoneforge Mystic, just not really a good card. A little overrated, maybe.
It's the best creature in Magic.
Yeah, maybe not. I think the best creature in Magic might be next to it. Maybe? Maybe?
I don't know. I don't think Deathrite Shaman is even top 3. I mean, there's like Tarmogoyf, Snapcaster Mage, Dark Confidant, and Stoneforge Mystic.
Mother of Runes.
Well, Mother of Runes is also a Magic card, but definitely not putting Mother of Runes in the top 10. Mother of Runes might be top 10 biggest traps in the history of Magic. Like, that is like, she sells you these sweet, sweet lies where it's like, oh yes, just play with creatures that you're going to want to give protection from colors to. Yeah. How about this?
Yeah.
Show and tell. Oh, you have your mom? That's weird. I have Emrakul.
Murray did finally pick up a copy of Punishing Fire.
Maybe Grizzlebrand. Mom is great and all, but daddy's home and he's been drinking. He's angry.
He's never happy.
No, he's definitely not happy.
No, we know that.
So what does Zachary need to do to turn this one around?
Right now, cast the Punishing Fire he drew on the Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, but is that going to be enough? I mean, Batterskull's going to come down.
Not if he kills Stoneforge now.
He has to kill Deathray Shaman first, or else the Deathray Shaman will kill the Punishing Fire.
Yeah, that's true.
Because last turn he went and got a basic forest, he doesn't have a Grove of the Burnwillows in play, so he can't actually play the Punishing Fire and get it back in the same turn, which he did to play around Wasteland.
What do you think about that? What do you think about kill Stoneforge Mystic anyway? And you can have it. Eat it all you want. I don't care.
This still doesn't even stop Batterskull.
Well, Batterskull's a little better down the road.
This turn.
All right, it's good now. It's going to come into play.
Which means because he's not showing the Grove of the Burnwillows, Frank is getting greedy and thinks that he's got time.
So basically what I think Murray's going to be setting up here is, okay, now I can get back my Grove, play my Grove, kill your Deathrite Shaman, take 4, go to 12, and hopefully my Bloodbraid Elf provides me with an answer to this Batterskull. Of course, it's not a long-term answer. How about a Maelstrom Pulse off the top? Thoughts?
I like that.
And now we can actually do everything. We can pulse the Batterskull, and then we can
the Punishing Fire.
Yeah, get back the Punishing Fire via the Grove.
Everything is great.
We're living the dream.
Everything is awesome.
That was a good top deck. I guess one thing too is that he doesn't actually have to do it right away because he can pay and respond. Like if Stanley goes after it now, then he gets it now. Now, I wouldn't do it now if I was Zach Murray. I would untap first, then play my other Grove to make sure nothing goes bad here. There we go.
Just seems like kind of a waste. Like, you might as well have just done it during your turn, Yeah,
I mean, he's not being as efficient as I believe he should be in the situation. So now here's going to be an activation, and Stanley's going to make his move on Murray's Punishing Fire. And so now we just do it again. We get it back. Then don't forget, too, the other thing is that you tap a red, you give your opponent, so there's 1 red floating.
Yeah.
So now we can cast Bloodbraid Elf.
Yeah, absolutely. But also just Punishing Fire the Deathrite Shaman. Punishing Fire just rips this Esper deck apart. Now, Tropical Island may be throwing some viewers for a loop. Why is there Tropical Island in an Esper deck?
Just for Deathrite Shaman.
Well, actually, in the sideboard, there's Abrupt Decay.
So most of these builds don't play Abrupt Decay in the sideboard. Most of them play Tropical Island just for Deathrite Shaman.
Yep.
Sometimes we see it for Engineer Explosives.
Yep.
Make it so you can set it on 4. But for the most part, it's just for the gain life ability for Deathrite Shaman.
But here, he's got a little secret something in the stash. Not super applicable for this matchup, though.
Stanley just has to, after resolving Brainstorm, I think we're just going to pass the turn back here in just a moment. Looks like there's a little bit of miscommunication between the players just on how many cards there are supposed to be, but I think we're going to be okay in just a moment. As there is a Thoughtseize. That's taking Bloodbraid Elf, so again, players exhausting each other's hands. An emphatic selection of the 3-2 with haste.
Well, that's part of what's so strong about the Punishing Fires engine. And it works so great against these bash all your resources against each other type matchups. I got a feeling Frank is going to be saving his Wastelands next game.
Yeah, I imagine that's the case. Murray's going to pass the turn back. Drew a Punishing Fire for the turn. There's a Punishing Fire in the bin. So now I think we maybe start going upstairs, start firing away. Murray's going to sacrifice this Verdant Catacombs here on the end of turn.
I mean, Stanley's in real bad shape. Now that he's behind the gun on this Punishing Fire, he needs to draw a True Name Nemesis ASAP, or perhaps stick a Lucky Vendilion Click, or just draw, chain multiple Wastelands. The problem, though, he only plays 2 Wastelands in his deck, so he has no hope of keeping Grove of the Burnwillows off the table this game.
Looks like we're going to fire the Punishing Fire upstairs and get to work on that life total. Going to pay, give it a life, and now we're going to get these back.
I love Punishing Fires, man. That was a good time. That was part of one of my favorite decks.
The
one MJ played?
No, I was hoping you were going to say Pro Tour Austin. We did battle there. You played Punishing Fire deck there.
Yeah. I was playing an early version of a 4-color control deck that No, that was not one of my favorite decks.
I mean, that deck, you got gifts in that deck, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that deck was sweet.
Yeah, no, it was fine. I've had gifts in a lot of decks. A deck having gifts in it is not enough to make it one. It's not enough to guarantee it a slot in the top 20.
Zach Murray, I don't know if you saw the card that he drew. He actually drew a copy of Chainer's Edict. That's a 1-of in his deck. That's value all the way right there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate a good 7-mana flashback spell.
Especially in this slow format like Legacy.
Yeah.
We're going to throw Punishing Fire upstairs. Now we're going to pay to get it back. And now we're going to fire away and get it back again. Now these are just little shots. You're dealing 1 point of damage every time you do this?
Well, they're dealing 2, but it costs you giving your opponent a life each time.
All right, so... yep, you win.
I just like being helpful.
Yeah. For Murray, I think, are his best draws in this situation just lands just so he can keep doing this?
I think that he really is... I mean, a Vendilion Click would help, but he needs to have... Oh, you're talking about Murray. Yeah, Murray doesn't really need a whole lot of things. I mean, more land would be good. I guess in theory, it would be fine to just draw something like an Abrupt Decay or something for some unknown problem that he's not really going to face. He's mostly got the game locked up. He needs to just not expose himself to Vendilion Click and keep up enough, get enough of a lead that he no longer is even remotely vulnerable to True Name Nemesis. The Chainer's Edict in his hand obviously is a trump to True Name Nemesis. The problem, of course, being that Stanley could, in theory, protect it with counter magic. Really, though, I think this one is mostly a done data.
Frank Stanley going to cast a Stoneforge Mystic. We know that's going to die in just a moment to one of the removal spells in Murray's hand. Stanley's going to go searching. I imagine this will be a GT. I'd be surprised if he has a second Batter Skull in his deck, and he doesn't, so there is Nozawa's GT. Of course, the first Batter Skull taken care of by the Singleton Maelstrom Pulse from Zachary Murray. Now, one thing here for Zachary Murray, too, let's keep in mind, he does have 2 draws already. I imagine those are unintentional. So tick-tock goes the clock. A 3rd draw in this last round, not a good idea.
Agreed. Agree to agree.
Yes. So if you can get him dead, get him dead. 2 damage is going to take care of Stoneforge Mystic. And now we're going to send 2 damage towards you. And then how about a little bit of life back?
See, now we can actually get ahead.
Gotcha.
Well, it looks like he's not going to here, but... Or he wasted a mana.
I think he had to waste a mana somewhere along the
either
line.
Either way, he can now get into a spot where every 2 Punishing Fires he does, which is 4 damage, he only has to let Frank gain 1 life.
Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, so Murray drew a copy of Liliana the Veil, but I don't even think he has a reason to cast Liliana the Veil.
Oh, see, I think you should, and then discard the Punishing Fires to the Liliana. Absolutely, just start with, increase your advantage. Why not?
So, the reason I don't like this is because, this just takes up more time. And, I think you can just leave Liliana in your hand to just use that to use it to basically take care of a True Name Nemesis.
See, he still has Chainer's Edict for the True Name Nemesis, which you could also even flash back.
Okay.
I think it's, 1, you want the information, and 2, you want to fight against any possible counterplay, Okay. It's not going to take him that long. We're only, he still has 37 minutes left in the round.
All right. Council Judgment's going to take care of Liliana.
It has the advantage of being able to kill a True Name Nemesis, but it has the disadvantage of not being able to kill land compared to Vindicate.
Yes. So True Name will get exiled due to the will of the Council.
The Liliana, of course.
Yes.
I don't know. There's something kind of weird about a whole, all right, let's take a vote. Whatever I say, you're going to have to agree with.
Maybe not designed for one-on-one play.
What a weird card on Magic Online.
I haven't played with it on Magic Online yet.
It's bugged, or it was anyway. It might not be now, but it was bugged, and it might still be, where you don't get to see what they voted for. So you just gotta guess. And if you and your opponent, if you guess wrong, then you just kill 2 of your permanents.
Oh, that's probably not good.
Yeah. Card's real strong.
Here's the source to take care of Deathrite Shaman. It's bugged. You guess wrong, you lose the game more.
You guessed wrong.
Yeah. Frank Stanley's going to draw some cards here. He's actually going to draw some more cards now due to Brainstorm.
And he has no problem taking his time, even if he's at a less than 1% chance of winning. Because, I mean, first of all, the burden is on Murray to play faster. If they run out of time,
That's
Stanley,
good for Frank.
Yeah,
right?
Frank. Yeah, he locks it up if they run out of time. Now, he's obviously playing at a very reasonable clip. But the point is, he's got no reason to concede early. Even if he's 0.5% to win, he's going to play it out and fight for the 0.5%. Meanwhile, the Fires continue to punish.
Yeah, as they should. Just keep firing away. And for Frank, he is, I think, a little bit brainstorm locked. And I think, yeah, he's decided. I thought he was going to decide he had enough the way he was reaching for his lands, but he's just organizing them. Again, the onus is on Zachary Murray to actually get the match done. Here's a Thoughtseize. Looks like the discard takes place there. But for Murray, again, nothing, you don't need to get too fancy. It's like you've got your opponent in a pretty good lock, and just fire away and roast away that life total. And make sure you're efficient at doing it. That's going to come back. Looks like they're shortcutting a little bit. But this punishing, there's another punishing fire. This punishing fire lock is pretty tough to overcome. There's a Liliana. That seems like an annoyance more than anything.
AKA gain 5 life.
Yeah, pretty much. 4
life to get rid of her, and 1 life because the punishing fire out of the hand is effectively a life.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy there. Liliana's going to die, of course. Let's keep that attention towards Stanley's life total, Zach. You've got him where you want him. Wasteland the draw. Card's, of course, excellent against Frank Stanley's deck. Could just go after the Trop, or you can just leave it in play, and the mana that it generates is actually pretty nice. So you can actually keep this punishing fire going. You see him organize his mana. He's got enough red sources to do a whole bunch of things, so he's just going to pass the turn back. Stanley going to take a draw. What's this mystery card? He's going to put a scrub land into play. Going to fire and fire. Return.
So this is an inefficient way. He's just doing 1 damage per with his punishing fires.
I was going to say, he could be doing more, right?
Yep. Yeah, what he could be doing is just punishing fire with all 3 punishing fires and then use 1 grove and a couple of red mana sources to get them back.
Okay.
Now, obviously, it depends on how much red mana he has available, but generally speaking, you want to use all your punishing fires and then get them all back at the same time.
That's what I thought. This isn't the most efficient way to be doing this. There's a polluted delta. I think that can search for a Badlands, because right now, if we count the delta, that's 4 sources of red mana and then the 2 groves. And I'm thinking to myself, there has to be a way he can be more efficient in how he's doing this to kill Stanley quicker.
Yep. And, it's not trivial. I mean, obviously, he's had this game 1 for a while, but he is using up a whole bunch of his clock.
Yeah.
If we go to game 3, he's going to have to step on the gas.
If we go to game 3 and, there's 10 minutes left, that's a real bad thing.
No, so here, he's doing it the efficient way now. Or might be. We'll see what he does with this.
Down to 6,
nope.
Up to 8. So now he's going to fire this off. Put him back down to 6.
What always used to crack me up, I remember the first time that Michael Jacob tapped a Grove of the Burnwillows to cast Punishing Fire.
Okay.
And then tapped another Grove of the Burnwillows to get it back, and it's like, MJ.
Come on, Mike.
Do the bet. I keep in mind, MJ was the first player to top a Pro Tour with Grove of the Burnwillows, or with Punishing Fire Grove of the Burnwillows in a control deck.
Okay.
I believe. Kibler obviously top 8'd Austin with it in an aggressive deck.
Oh, he didn't just top 8.
Yeah, he won.
Oh, he won that bad boy.
Yeah, the first of many Brian Kibler wins.
That
I get it.
Was...
How many Grand Prix has he won? He's won at least 3 of them? I think he's won 2 or 3 Grand Prix, maybe 4, I don't know. And 2 Pro Tours. There are a lot of Brian Kibler trophy shots.
He does some winning.
Well,
He does some winning.
and he's going to be doing even more in about 3 months, I think. When Life Bane Zombie rotates out.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he has not
Probably.
been able to get away from the green creatures this year.
Do you think Brian's greatest regret is that he doesn't get to play with Colonial Hydra? Just because it's kind of just not good enough to play with due to Life Bane Zombie and all the removal that's running around? Probably got to be frustrating.
I don't know. Brian Kibler has lived a rich and interesting enough life. I think he could probably come up with some greater regrets than that.
Nah, I think it's the Hydra. Zachary Murray is going to win game number 1 here over Frank Stanley. He finally does submit to the Punishing Fire Grove of the Burnwillows combo. Punishing John up a game here over Esper Deathblade as we work our way. So underneath that 30th minute on the clock, we'll take a look at the sideboards here. You've got Stanley's in front of you. Is there an extra paid or a surgical extraction or anything like that running around on the sideboard?
Nope. No, this sideboard really does not have a lot. I guess he's got surgical extraction, and that counts, I guess. But remember, punishing fires, even if you surgical extraction the punishing fires, it is possible if you have a second Grove of the Burn Willows that you just keep untapped to play around it.
Okay.
So it is super potent that the surgical extraction is a 0-mana trick, so you never know when they might have it. But the surgical extraction is going to be super important. In theory, you could use Meddling Mage also. Meddling Mage could disrupt punishing fire,
okay.
But I think that's just a little bit unreliable given how many other ways Murray has to kill creatures. Vendilion Click, I think, is actually totally reasonable. It's unfortunate to have to play with so many cards that all die to punishing fire, but at least Vendilion Click has a chance of taking it.
On Murray's side, 3 Red Elemental Blast, 3 Duress, 2 Engineered Plague, 2 Surgical Extraction, an Inquisition, a Kozilek, a Pithing Needle, a Gregary Charm, an Ancient Grudge, a Scavenging Ooze. So Red Elemental Blast is interesting in this matchup because it is a preemptive answer to True Nemesis, and there are some other blue cards out there. But clearly this is not a blue deck. Like, it's definitely an Esper deck. So do you want a lot of that effect?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that that's that important. I mean, it's always nice to Red Blast a Brainstorm, of course, but in general, the key cards in this matchup are Deathray Shaman, Stoneforge Mystic, Surgical Extraction, and to a degree, even Batterskull, none of which are actually blue. I think he'll still, it's a totally reasonable option, but I also just don't like Bloodbraid Elf having to flip up a Red Blast in a situation where you're facing a deck that just doesn't have that many targets you can actually Red Blast. The reason I think that he'll end up boarding it, some number in, is it's just too effective of a answer to both Jace and True Name Nemesis. He doesn't totally know how much True Name Nemesis action Frank has, but he can tell that Frank is a battler, a warrior, the type of dude who would show up with some number of Jace the Mind Sculptors.
Because he knows.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows you got to catch Jace.
You know who I bet would catch Jace the Mind Sculptor a lot? Jay-Z. That's the type of dude who would just cast Jace the Mind Sculptor a lot while other people are, just walking around, casting Sprouting Thrynex or something.
You got a problem with Sprouting Thrynex?
No, I don't got a problem with this Sprouting Thrynex at all. I'm just saying
like
Jay-Z is the type of dude. Jace the Mind Sculptor, Jay-Z the Mind Sculptor, it's not that far off.
Do you think he could get his Jace's altered?
Do we get them altered?
Yeah, to say Jay-Z the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, I don't think that he would be big into don't get me wrong, he might be.
Oh yeah,
but
he's not fancy, you're right.
Well, no, he doesn't even have chrome on the wheels of his car. People who don't have chrome on the wheels of their car while they're busy being gangster rappers, that is an indication that they're not going to alter their Jace the Mind Sculptors.
Maybe he's just not really that into cars.
Maybe he's just not that bit into cards.
We don't know for sure.
Same.
We'll call it a draw. We'll call this a draw. I bet he's got really nice playmat, though.
Yes.
I can almost guarantee that.
Well, Beyonce is definitely into playmats.
There you go. I imagine a really nice playmat, some nice sleeves. Jay-Z, we know you're watching. We appreciate it.
Shout out to Jay-Z.
Absolutely. Beyonce, I'd probably not watch.
Oh, she might be. Just the two of them curled up on the couch drinking some hot cocoa. They're in front of the,
It's summer.
Yeah, but you don't know that they're not. They might be in the Swiss Alps or something. You don't know that.
I guess they could be anywhere. That's true.
Yeah.
Just, in Los Angeles, curled up on the couch, 95 degrees outside, drinking some hot cocoa. Yep.
If you could
toasty marshmallows by the fireplace.
No, seriously, it might be like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kim, and Kanye, the four of them, just in a ski lodge in Switzerland, watching the coverage, because they do dope stuff.
Well, be careful about what you say about Kanye now.
Kanye does dope stuff. It's true.
That's true.
His life is dope, and he does dope stuff.
He could get very angry very quickly.
No, Kanye is my boy. He was just the other day I heard a song that he was singing that really inspired me. It was the timeless anthem, Power.
Great song.
You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Great song.
Kanye
is that what you play when you're doing vintage Masters drafts? You just on repeat?
I don't do vintage Master drafts.
That's not a good thing.
What do you mean?
Vintage Masters is great.
No, it is. I've heard great things about it, and a lot of people really enjoy it. They haven't printed it in paper yet. So
we are underway in game number 2.
Zachary Murray fetching up Basic Swamp. He remembers the Wastelands from last game.
Stanley's just got a couple of fetch lands right now.
I feel like Kanye should make a song about Wastelands. It's like, You know, diamonds are forever, but your non-basic lands sure aren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, have Jay-Z on the track.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, hold on. If they step into Magic, the Gathering could be ruined.
No, it's
You
no
think
hate.
you can share that space?
I don't know if they can share with us.
Oh,
but-
okay. All right, that makes sense.
No. But it would be an honor. It would be an honor to
For them to work with you.
to collaborate with Jay-Z
Yeah.
and Kanye West
Yeah.
on the Gathering track.
Here's a Tarmogoyf. That's going to be a 1-2 right now. We will get our Tarmogoyf die out there for you guys at home. Make sure we do know the size of that Lurgoyf. But it's not going to matter because of the Swords of Plowshares, so just forget everything I said. That thing is long gone.
Just use a sample from that B.O.B. track, you know. I've got the magic in me, you know.
Yep. We really have something here.
Dude, we could do this.
Magic does get a little.
We set it up.
just a
I'll
little
get
bit
I'll
bigger.
get in touch with Spruik. You get in touch with Jay and Khan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do the easy part. I know Spruik's really busy, so I wouldn't want to interrupt Jay and Khan from their hot chocolate.
Well, see, it's not even Jay and Kanye. Obviously, they're down for whatever. It's Kim and
B
Beyonce.
and B, yeah. They're the troublemakers.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to another Magic tournament
With
again.
with little North,
Yeah.
you know, just.
Yep.
All right, Frank, continuing to fetch. Given that this is Legacy, both players are in the process of setting up their mana bases and doing a little bit of library manipulation.
Let's see what spell's going to be here. There's a third land. Is it maybe time for a true name? Yes, it is.
True Name Nemesis. This is not super what Zach wants to see, but he does have lots of answers. And it looks like he might have one in his hand.
Yeah, this is actually the reason I actually like Jund against these True Name Nemesis decks and some of these fair decks. For Liliana of the Veils, we saw Chainer's Edict last game. There's only one Golgari Charm in this sideboard. There's also 2 Engineered Plagues. But, there could be more charms. There are those 2 plagues. You have preemptive answers in Red Elemental Blast if the mana's available.
Thoughtseize?
Yeah, Thoughtseize as well. I like that you are doing really well against True Name even though you're playing a fair deck, because a lot of fair decks have trouble with that card.
Yeah. Yeah, it's people with names often struggle with it, but Zachary does have a way to deal with it.
So if you actually don't have a name, what do you think happens?
Well, I can tell you what actually happens, but I think it's a flavor violation.
If you don't have a name?
Yeah, even if you don't have a name, Clint Eastwood's character, just rolls into town. Which by the way is not actually the man with no name,
Okay.
popular misconception. But if it doesn't matter, if you don't have a name, screw you. True Name Nemesis is just,
Just coming to town.
Yeah, apparently what you do is you just indicate a player.
Okay.
You don't even have to know their true name. If they have no name, then that is their true name.
Brainstorm going to resolve here. There is a fetch land to make it a perfect one. If Stanley has interest, there's also a Ponder hanging out in Frank's hand. Just going to pass the turn back. Zach Murray's going to sacrifice his fetch land, go down to 18.
I will say that all the flavor points that are lost from True Name Nemesis not operating correctly in that sort of scenario, at least I got to give them all back. I think that the fact that Nameless Race has been errated to not have a creature type, that alone is enough to make up for it. Or it would be if it weren't for the fact that Remove Soul still counters Soulless One after all these years.
That's poor design.
Yeah, that's actually just an affront to symmetry, beauty, and the American way.
Who's going to play the first real spell? Here we go. Lily? Lily.
Liliana. Oh, and she sticks.
That
The
elevator's-
struggle is very real.
That elevator's going up. It's time for players to discard. Zach's hand is pretty bad.
It is rancid.
Yeah, he's got an Ancient Grudge, a
Yeah.
Grove, and a Wasteland. Like, Wasteland is clearly good against the 4-color, all non-basic deck, but it's just not great right now.
Well, Liliana is exactly what you want when you're a little flooded out,
Yeah. Stanley's going to sacrifice here. Go get a 5th land. I imagine this would be a Batterskull. I wouldn't be surprised. But
Oh,
I
I
believe
wish
that
he
Murray's
would.
hand right now is an Ancient Grudge at
yeah.
the ready. So
Yeah, he would murder the heck out of a Batterskull.
get it dead.
It's murder. What do you think?
That's Ja Rule,
Well, that's like a lot of people.
but mostly Ja Rule.
No, I was thinking mostly Damian Marley.
Do you think Ja Rule watches Magic?
Dude, I don't know Ja Rule. But Damian Marley, man. You know, like
Ja Rule, I believe.
Ja Rule. Yeah, Murder is his favorite card.
Absolutely.
Murder is the card that they gave me.
That is true.
No, that's Snoop Dogg, man. No, I don't know about Ja Rule. I don't think Ja Rule plays Magic.
He plays. Everyone
He
plays.
might. Actually, a surprising number of people play.
The lead singer of Yellow Card plays Magic, one of my favorite bands.
Yeah?
Yeah. He put out a tweet a couple weeks ago. He was getting ready to play Conspiracy with the band, which I thought was
awesome.
actually really awesome.
Absolutely. That's very awesome.
This is a Grove. Because he has a Punishing Fire, pass the turn back. This engine is online. You see him separating the mana. Uh-oh. Better than all? Is it better than Punishing Fire?
Yeah. Punishing Fire is part of the set of all.
We'll see who wins this war between Jace and Punishing Fire.
This is not a winnable matchup for Esper Stoneblade. Let's just not get that twisted.
It's not good at all. Frank is going to brainstorm here with Jace. Better get some good use out of this. He's going to put 2 cards back because Punishing Fire is going to go right towards that thing in just a moment. And here is the Punishing Fire. Down to 1. You can gain a life. And then fire away again. Get that Jace off the table.
Dude, Punishing Fire is so good.
Punishing Fire, better than all. I'm going to do a remix.
Yeah, I'll bet.
If you'll let me.
No, I would definitely let you.
I imagine
Dude,
there's some number of
I'm not
royalties
the
involved.
arbiter deciding who does remixes and who doesn't.
And Grove of the Burn Willows is going to come in here, number 2. And now we've got the engine online again. There's only 1 Punishing Fire involved, but this is where things again get very difficult for Frank. Liliana the Veil to draw for Stanley.
I bet you have a hell of a rap voice. Now, you seem more like Sing the Hook for me, you know, have the kind of Nate Dogg-esque, you know. Like, I bet you got a beautiful, deep, kind of soulful voice.
Like this?
No, I don't know.
good?
How do you sing, man? I don't know.
I actually have a high voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're more of a, what is it, like CeeLo type of?
Not
Brainstorm.
Not that
trying
high.
to set things up for Frank Stanley.
That'd be a little too high.
Dude, we could actually make a pretty good band. Like, my natural singing voice is actually unreal low.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta tune it up a little bit if I'm doing anything other than, like, I'm dreaming. That type of, bring it
Yeah,
all
Whole
the
White
way.
Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're having hot cocoa again.
It's not even
It always
Christmas
goes
time.
full circle to hot cocoa, it seems.
Well, or Jay-Z and Kanye. that's what it really is. You know what would make Kanye's day? Knowing that we're talking about him right now.
Yeah, you're right. Is a Punishing Fire is going to be targeted towards Stanley. And now we're going to pick up that Punishing Fire. Are we going to fire it off again, or are we going to wait?
This is where you start to ask yourself, so you know that he doesn't have surgical extraction here, or he would have just got you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can afford to be greedy.
That's true, actually.
But you also might just want to hold on to it because you're not just trying to let it spray yet. You want to just have options in your hands, slow play it.
There's a Tarmogoyf. You have to imagine this is going to die almost immediately, and you can see a Source of Plowshares over there right now.
Yeah, it is funny that Murray has all this other stuff that he does, but really it just ends up just trading with other cards that Stanley has that weren't doing anything anyway.
Yeah, like in that situation, if I'm Zach and I draw a Tarmogoyf, I don't even play it because my opponent has cards stranded in their hand, so they're either creatures or removal spells that don't matter. And I just know that my Tarmogoyf, like, is this thing going to hit for 5? Like, no. I can't imagine a world where that's going to happen. And I can just keep letting it spray, as you would say, with Punishing Fire. It really just rolls off the lips.
Yeah, the way you let it spray is you just go, turn 1, bolt you.
Yep.
In the, control versus twin matchup.
Absolutely. Let them know where they stand.
Yeah. So, Frank Stanley trying to find one of his few answers to Punishing Fire. He has access to Surgical Extraction. He has Vendilion Click. And, of course, he can also attempt some kind of a race with True Name Nemesis. In theory, he could also race with Batterskull, but he would need a lot more land.
I'd have to somehow beat that Ancient Grudge, which seems problematic. Stanley got sacrificed Flooded Strand to go down to 17 here. And I imagine this is how Murray picked up, those 2 draws that have happened over the course of this tournament thus far. It's just it takes a little while for Punishing Jund to close things out,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. You know what he might need? He might need, like, Pyromancer's Swath.
Oof.
Once you throw down Pyromancer's Swath, you get to do 2 extra damage every time you Punishing Fire.
Yeah, beat that, Jack.
Speed that up. It's like putting a very, very large engine in your tricycle. It's like, vroom.
Yep.
So, Tarmogoyf, probably not going to exert a huge impact on the game here. You said that Frank has a plow?
He has a plow, and he also has a Liliana that he can play as well, and there is Liliana. So that can take care of it as well, and it's going to. Now, of course, that's going to bite the dust from Punishing Fire in just a moment, I imagine. So there is that. And I know exactly what he's trying to do. Yep, he's trying to hook him. So he's going to pay, because he has a Vendilion Click in his hand. He's trying to hook him and get this Punishing Fire. Okay, yeah, go ahead and return it. That's fine. You can return it if you want to. Sure, now, yep, it's in your hand, and thank you.
Well played.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. You got to set these situations up.
I want your Punishing Fire. I don't care about anything else. I want your Punishing Fire.
And this, by the way, just as a spoiler to those at home, the way this works is that now he will draw another Punishing Fire. That's just how the world works.
Close, Abrupt Decay. Very
He
close.
hasn't drawn for his turn yet.
This is true. And we are going to untap. And you oftentimes say you're from the future, and you're not.
Please.
You're not.
Prove it.
You're not.
Yeah. We'll see what you say tomorrow.
Yeah. There's Marsh Flats. Going to sacrifice this. Will Murray going to go down to 16. You got to be careful how you time those Punishing Fires. Can't get sloppy. Yeah, sure, he's got 4 in his deck. That's fine. He's actually going to shuffle 1 back in that was placed on the bottom from the Vendilion Click. But you got to be careful. Between Extirpate and Vendilion Click, you don't want to lose those.
That's true.
See if it's going to be a Chainer's Edict. Get that thing out of here.
Which is a medium risky maneuver. I mean, he's keeping the Abrupt Decay, but now he is vulnerable to a True Name Nemesis.
Yeah. Murray's going to untap. Going to take a draw here. Still looking for a Punishing Fire. Ding.
Huh, that's weird.
It didn't come last turn.
I said, let's see what you're talking about tomorrow.
Was
Please.
tomorrow the next turn? Yep.
All right. Well, Punishing Fire. Plus, statistically speaking, when you fetch a land, the probability of drawing the Punishing Fire goes way up.
Way up. Yeah.
Way up. Like upwards of 2% sometimes.
Punishing Fire going to come back to the grip. Stanley going to gain a life. And now we're going to fire off 2 points of damage. And a return. I don't like the return here. Again, for the same reason I don't like it last turn. Okay.
No, you already got gotten once. What are the odds that you get gotten again? You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you can't mess with Texas.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. That's how the saying goes. Got to put a Wasteland into play, Will Murray. And here's a Dark Confidant. And there's going to be a Wasteland on the Tropical Island, it looks like, and going to take care of the Dark Confidant. Don't love the sequencing there, just because allowing them to have the green mana. But also, there are no more green lands for Frank Stanley, it looks like, in his deck to cast future Abrupt Decays. He does have the one Tropical Island, and then, of course, Deathrite Shamans will be able to do it, but Deathrite Shaman's not going to live, so There's a Stoneforge Mystic. That comes off the top for Frank, and Zach just shrugs his shoulders, saying, yep, whatever you get is going to die to my Ancient Grudge, and I'm going to kill your Stoneforge Mystic with my Punishing Fire. Batterskull was on top of the deck, now it's in the grip. There are some decks in Legacy that are very, very soft to this 2-card combo, Punishing Fire, Grove of the Burn Willows, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have very many Wastelands to potentially try to break it up.
Yeah. 2 copies, like you said, right at the top.
Already got one of his 2 Vendilion Clicks to sneak a fire, but Murray has drawn another one. As you might imagine, 4 Punishing Fires. No, actually only 3.
Only 3?
Only 3.
Okay.
You know, because why do you need 4? You know, like, I guess it's one of those things where you already beat the people that it's good against so much, you just don't want to have such a weak card against the many, many, many unfair decks.
There were a lot of combo decks at the start of our tournament, and that is a place where Jund does not want to be, of course. They do have some discard, but when you're in the punishing version, you're pretty bad against some things. But if there are a lot of fair decks here at the back end of this tournament and Zachary Murray is able to win this match, this could be a very, very, very favorable top 8 for him. We're going to find out, of course. But it looks like he's going to go. I mean, he's in the driver's seat right now. I don't really think there's anything that can really go too wrong at this point. Don't want to call a game over before it's over, of course, but he's in a good spot. Liliana in play, and the Punishing Fire engine online. Draws a copy of Duress for the turn. I imagine he's going to fire that off and see exactly what Frank Stanley's working with. So here is Duress. And this is the Supreme Verdict, the Batter Skull, and a Swords of Plowshare. So there goes the Batter Skull. Just picking him apart from every angle.
Yeah, there's a lot of hanging out when Punishing Fires is involved.
Yep.
Frank, very much in the market for one of his surgical extractions. The good news is the Liliana is the more pressing problem.
Yeah.
So, it's likely that you might not even have to worry about getting punished all the way out.
Maybe a Liliana Ultimate, perhaps?
Yeah. Liliana of the Veil. Let's say probably number 3 all time among Planeswalkers. Yeah.
1 Jace, 2.
Elspeth 4. Elspeth, Knight Errant, is so incredible.
Am I able to argue Jace Bellerin?
I mean, you could argue it. I don't think it's embarrassing to argue it.
Okay.
I wouldn't think less of you for arguing it. It's not right, but...
All right. Could Jace Bellerin be 3 over
No,
Liliana? No,
I don't think so. I think Jace Bellerin, it's not even clear, is number 2 among Jaces. Jace Architected Thought is pretty outrageous.
It's a really good card. There's 2 copies of Deathrite Shaman. Those are both going to bite the dust.
I do think most of the best Planeswalkers are all Jace. Ajani Vengeant is pretty good, too.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of right now, too.
So Liliana continuing her climbing up to Ultimate.
Whoa. Elspeth Sun's champion. How is that not number 1 for you?
Because I'm just rational.
Already giving up on the old girl?
No, she's great. No, she's one of the 10 best. She's easily 10 best. The thing is, she doesn't cost 3 or 4. She costs 6, which is a challenge. She's the best.
Thank goodness it doesn't cost 3 or 4.
I think she's probably the best among Planeswalkers that cost 5 or more.
That's tough. Gideon is
incredible.
Gideon is right up there with
Gideon
the 5
is
or 6
also incredible.
Planeswalkers.
Gideon is incredible.
I mean, Elspeth is pretty busted. I'm not going to argue otherwise, but
yeah, I think Elspeth is probably still above Gideon, though.
it's time for some more Punishing Fire activity. We're going upstairs. You see Liliana at 7. Zach Murray going to do some shortcutting here against Frank. Now he's just going to try to whittle away the life total. Punishing Jund doing currently what Punishing Jund is supposed to do, which is exhaust your opponent's resources and finish you off slowly but surely. But basically there are no draws almost that Stanley can find to get back in this game. Surgical Extraction would maybe be able to catch a Punishing Fire, and that's a huge maybe.
Well, the first thing he needs to do is he needs an answer to this Liliana ASAP.
Yeah, that's step 1 is getting that thing off the table.
Step 2, though, a Surgical Extraction on a Punishing Fire, if Zachary is a little sloppy, could actually be the type of edge he needs to get back into this. The problem, of course, not a lot of answers to Liliana in his deck. He doesn't have access to Abrupt Decay. His only green mana is gone. He does have Council's Judgment, but the one Council's Judgment is not a lot of hope. Oh, 1 Venser. Huh.
A momentary reprieve.
Momentary, that's great. Venser's great. That's like one of the only 2 cards you could draw there.
Yeah, Fencer puts it in the hand, not in the graveyard.
Yeah, I think there was just some confusion over whether or not this was in response to a Liliana activation or something.
See some mana being tapped here. Don't want to cast an Ancient Grudge. Gonna get this back, gonna fire away. Play a little sloppy here from Zach.
It is really good that he is up a game.
Yeah. You can see how he got the 2 draws. It's just a little, the technical play, just figuring out exactly the most efficient way to kill Punishing Fire. You can see he's having some difficulty doing it. There's a draw of a Wasteland. Going to put that into play.
Frank is totally in this game. 1 Surgical Extraction and, another 10 or 15 minutes, and he could totally...
Yeah, another 10 or 15 minutes is what it would take. That is definitely what it would take.
I just want to see Murray playing Punishing Fire or Punishing Jund against Counterbalance Miracles in the top 8. That would be like a chess match. Counterbalance obviously able to trump Punishing Fire. Abrupt Decay able to trump Counterbalance.
Yep.
Both players in extremely mono-dirtle to control.
Yep. That'd be a good, 3-4 hour match.
Snapcaster Mage comes down.
Gonna return Punishing Fire.
It's tough because this Liliana means Frank can't actually hold any cards, so things just get eaten by the Punishing Fire.
Let's see what this is. Probably a Brainstorm. I have to imagine. Yeah. It's the best action card he has in the graveyard. Here's 3 cards. Liliana, Stoneforge Mystic, and a Snapcaster Mage. So nothing all that impressive there to take a look at off the Brainstorm. Got to put a couple of the cards back, too. And that was just a main phase Snapcaster Mage, I imagine. Yeah, so Punishing Fire is going to take care of that. 6, 7, 8 mana. This could be a Deathrite Shaman. So now we're going to deploy that threat. I used it lightly. Already one champion here in Portland. We did see Nia Hexproof win the standard portion.
Did the Trailblazers ever win a championship? Didn't they win a championship way back with like Clyde Drexler or something?
No, Clyde left to go to Houston and they won. Clyde didn't do it.
Oh, they won as soon as Clyde was gone?
No, the Trailblazers have never won.
The Trailblazers have
I don't
never
know if
won?
I don't want to say they've never won a championship. My basketball
We're here in
knowledge
Portland.
is-
If you can tweet at us at SCG Live, let us know if the Portland Trailblazers ever won a championship. I'll tell you one thing, they lost to the Detroit Pistons. That much is certain.
So we came full circle for that, didn't we?
That's
Didn't we?
certain.
We came full circle to make sure that everyone knows that your Detroit Pistons won. And you know what? If we are going to talk about the Detroit Pistons, boy, does your team suck now.
My team.
Boy,
I'm
is
just
that
talking
nice.
about the Detroit Pistons, man.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you're right. The Nuggets are really good too.
The
Right.
Nuggets?
Yeah,
that
they're really good.
No, they're great.
You couldn't name 3 players on the Nuggets.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Your
Although,
team.
actually, I met one of them.
What was his name?
I don't know. We
Yeah.
were at I was picking up a present for my wife on Christmas Eve, and
I see we shopped ahead.
and
Did we?
I hear from behind me, somebody asking if they can have my autograph. And I turn around and they weren't actually talking to me. It was just some guy talking to the 6'10" guy next to me at the jewelry shop. So yeah, it was I guess he's the power forward for the Denver Nuggets.
The power forward for the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah, he's of Eastern European descent, young guy. He mostly spent the whole time on his smartphone while his I presume GF was picking out her Christmas present.
It could be a couple different people. It depends.
Young Eastern European.
Probably Danilo Gallinari.
Dude, it was some name that I don't. His name wasn't Joe.
You're right. It was not. As the Punishing Fire is going to take that down.
Looked him up online. It's whoever was the starting power forward for the Nuggets, I think. It wasn't the 7-foot dude. It was the 6'10" dude.
It was the 6'10" dude.
Yeah.
This was last year?
Christmas Eve of last year.
Okay. Well, I mean, Gallinari tore his ACL. I could very easily figure it out, and we will have this discussion.
Meanwhile,
after this match.
Liliana back to 7. As is so often the case with Punishing Fire, Frank Stanley is up to 26 on his way down.
Yep. The elevator will eventually go down, or the clock will be the elevator that goes down.
Oh, taste it.
Boom.
There's 3 right there.
That's a headshot if I've ever seen one.
That's 3.
Let's make it 5.
There's 2 more.
You gotta admire a man who will play out a game like this.
Yeah, what I admire.
He could demonic tutor every turn.
Stanley has a card in his hand. This is really reckless, not keeping up Punishing Fire Grove of the Burnwillows.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. You're up a game.
Oh. Ultimate me.
Yeah. Liliana, an ultimate for medium value that they usually survive.
Here's Deathrite Shaman. And now, give me this back. You can have a life up to 22. And pass the turn back. Liliana's elevator will be going up here eventually. There's a Marsh Flats. Had it, as the kids say.
There are a lot of blue mages, I think, that would enjoy the style of Jund. Like there's a certain style of blue mage that they just want to be in control for like half an hour. just hanging out, winning. No, Guillaume gets it over with. Guillaume actually plays a surprising amount of get it over with. It depends. He plays whatever's right. Like, he helped popularize Broodmate Dragon and Cruel Ultimatum in control decks. He played what is the 5-mana Sphinx from Zendikar with kicker that lets you draw 3 and discard 3?
Sphinx of Lost Truth.
Yeah, he used Sphinx of Lost Truth and Sorin Markov in a Grixis deck that he played at Worlds one year. He's not a guy who likes to play with his food.
Likes to take control and get you dead.
Well, he doesn't even care about the control. He just likes to draw extra cards.
Okay, I respect that. Here's your thoughts. He has no cards in the hand. I believe that was discarded to, Liliana. I take it back. Punishing Fire is going to come back to the grip here. We are at extra turns. Zachary is not going to be able to deal the full 21.
Unlikely.
But he will win on technicality here in just a moment. We will watch these last couple of turns.
He's going to make a go at it.
Yeah, he's going to go for the full 21.
He's going to try to go off. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize this. Guillaume.
Yeah, we are at turn 1 right
now. When he played the original 5-color control deck in Hollywood, I believe he actually only played. He might have only played 3 Cryptic Commands.
Okay.
Because he wanted to make room for 4 Careful Considerations. That is a man who wants to draw some cards.
Is it Hollywood?
Yeah, Pro Tour Hollywood was the very first. That was Quick and Toast, the precursor. I mean, it was before Cruel Ultimatum, but it was the precursor to what would eventually go on to be 5-color control. It was the first deck where the Vivid Land Reflecting Pool mana base was really unveiled by Manuel Bucher and friends.
I believe that you are correct.
Definitely correct.
No, I'm not challenging you. I'm just thinking of the tournament right now. Like,
yeah,
I was
Pro Tour Hollywood, Gindy won.
Yeah, okay.
With Black-Green Elves.
Yeah, there was Revelarks in the top 8. It was a Fairies-based
Oh
tournament.
yeah, there were Revelarks lots of places.
Yeah, this is true. There were a lot of Revelarks not in the top 8.
There were Revelarks in all places.
Yeah, there were a couple of Revelark decks in the top 8. People taking the gamble that weekend. I know Paulo made top 8 with Fairies that week, and I guess that's not much of a surprise.
That was one of 16 top 8s in a row by Paulo with Fairies.
Yeah. No kidding. I think we have a message incoming. Looks like play has stopped. Here we are. No, maybe not. Maybe this will be on the camera.
I think he's asking for help.
There you go. I am sorry has been announced.
Yeah.
I am sorry.
It better be.
Well, no one is making you not concede.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I am not. I am not sorry.
Yeah, that's well known.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah. No one is making you not concede the game, Frank. You're putting yourself through this on your own.
He's playing to his outs.
Whatever out that may be.
No, they've come this far. This is the last round of the tournament. They're going to try to enjoy it.
Oh, thoughts
is he
on
a little short on 13?
Thoughts on Lightning Bolt down to 10. We're going to pay for that Spell Pierce. Yeah, we are.
Just getting silly at this point.
Just a touch. You do have to admire the friendly nature of the match at the end of the day. I will give it that. Given that this is a match playing for top 8, and neither player is Frank is taking this in stride pretty well, given that he has absolutely no shot to win and not going to make top 8
Well, to be fair, they stopped playing a match around 31 minutes ago.
Yep.
And instead, they have sort of fallen into the role of 2 strangers trapped on a deserted island together, making the most of what days they have left on this world.
Which one's the volleyball?
In this case, Frank is getting knocked all over the place. Wilson,
that is
volleyball.
Yep. And that is going to do it. Crocus is not going to get it done. Zach Murray is going to win this match over Frank Stanley.
With a handshake nearly as long as the match itself.
Yeah, no kidding. Punishing John was on a 7-0-2, and Zach Murray will be in the top 8. We're going to bring it back to the booth here, my friends. Put a wrap on the Swiss